Well, hi, everyone. Happy Thursday night. We got the whole gang here except
Woo!
Josh. Yeah. Zach Gilday, Peyton Langford, myself, and we're all going to kind of take you through this Facebook Live. And I know you got a lot of questions about timing, about location, and we can't answer a single one of them.
Models,
we can try.
keep on
We can try.
not doing a very good job.
No, it's
models.
And one of the things I even asked the Weather Service about this, Peyton and Zach, like, why have the computer models, especially what's known as the CAMs, the convective allowing models, been so terrible lately? And the reason for that is because we have weak forcing. What we mean by that is there's nothing really focused in terms of, oh, this is a big piece of energy. This is coming in, and this is definitely going to fire off storms, and it will definitely happen at this time.
Yeah, they're good when it comes to those big pieces of energy, but when everything's so slow, it's like they don't know what to do.
When is it going to pop up? That's right. So we got Peyton at the helm. He's going to be taking control of Weather 1. Zach's got a computer that he can geek out with, and we can show you some stuff. And so if you got some comments, fire away. But we got the rain this morning. There were some naysayers, there were some doubters, and that did blow up. And that, honestly, I would say that forecast is beautiful.
Yeah,
we called for storms in the morning. We held to our guns. But let's get to the timing first, just so people don't have to wait too long. So I'll tell you what, we'll bring this up. We'll let Peyton do some controlling, but I'm going to do a one-day precipitation forecast, and we'll show you what's up here. So let's take a look at that. There is the 24-hour rain timing. So there you go, Justin. Exactly what you wanted to know. We're popping it up right now for you. So the models are, what would you say? Would you say they're on point with this, but maybe a little bit later? I don't know. We'll see how this happens. But that's what we're looking at for storm chances. Zach, you put together the forecast along with collaborating with Peyton. I want you guys to elaborate on what's going on.
Yeah, there's many short-range models, and the earliest model has it coming in at like midnight, and that's way too early. But the latest HRRR model has it coming in towards the morning, towards like 5, 6 a.m. So
even later now, some of them.
Even later now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm kind of thinking overnight, so maybe 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, best chance for rain. The big issue here is going to be the flooding potential.
Yeah.
Because we had that rain last night. The ground is soaked. And in these storms, not a lot of flow aloft. So if they form, they're going to be moving slow. So flooding definitely going to be a big issue tonight if we get the rain.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be watching that. We'll keep you updated on that. But that's kind of what we're looking at. Peyton, what did you see with the forecast?
Yeah, so what I saw is, of course, everything is super slow. The flow is super slow. So the main thing that we're going to pull up here in a minute when we look at the Howell Heating and Cooling Mega Doppler is what is going to be the driver for this rain. So it could be this complex of storms in Oklahoma City. But with the wind super slow, it's hard to tell which direction it's going to go. And it seems like the storm itself is going to drive its direction. Now, we're looking at that piece of energy as well as a piece of energy up in southern Nebraska, kind of along, southern Nebraska even. And we can pull up.
I'll show something
Zach's
here for you.
screen.
Yeah, so
Show
this
what I'm
is
talking about.
showing that energy. You can definitely see it. So what we're looking at here as we bring up this, there's your computer screen showing that energy. And so, Zach, you could kind of point it out, and Peyton, you could talk about it. You see those little dashed lines? Maybe we need to zoom in just a little bit more. We'll continue to zoom in. And there you see those little dashed lines. Those are all pieces of energy, disturbances, areas of lift. And that's what's ahead of it forming the thunderstorm potential. So Casey's saying this, no clouds or anything. What's up with Lowell or South Rogers? We had no power from 3:30 to 7. Well, that's because you had some thunderstorms roll through, and quite a few of them. And that heat and humidity, which is happening right now, is going to lead to some really heavy rain potential and thunderstorm action and activity. So, Zach, scoot on in and get on in the shot if you need to. So, it's a little bit of a smaller window, a little bit cropped. But, so here's what we need to do is do an hourly forecast. Oh, what about the chance of tornadoes? What do you guys think on that?
Survey says no.
No, that ain't going to happen. No tornadoes tonight. You should be a storm chaser, Mike Price. Oh, Mike Price did mention the shelf cloud. However, Mike, I got to be honest with you. I've seen pictures of this. I don't think it was a shelf cloud. So you're like, well, wait a minute. What are you talking about? It's called a roll cloud. So one of the differences between a roll cloud and a shelf cloud is a roll cloud is detached from the base of the thunderstorm. That I would agree was detached from the base of the thunderstorm. It had the appearance of a shelf cloud, but it wasn't sloping away from the precipitation and it wasn't attached to the base of the thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah. Based on the picture
Survey
that's on-
says.
Agree.
Okay. So we got 3 meteorologists that agree. Not to say that it didn't look like a shelf cloud, but if you see it kind of detached like that, you can tell it was because it had a little bit of a darker spot at the top of the cloud, brighter at the bottom. That just lets you know that it was more of a roll cloud. Lightning sounded louder than thunder. It was so loud it was crazy. So lightning, yeah, it was loud. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that. So that's a good point. I wonder if there was a brief little spin. I'll tell you what, the archive radar, which we could bring up, I think we have. That might take a little bit of time for me to bring up, but I could while you guys take it away. And we could look at that storm. There was a little bit of spin in the atmosphere as it was moving right towards Gentry. There was a brief window of opportunity for that potential for severe weather. So you want to go to weather 3 or weather 1, excuse me,
Well,
to
I
bring
have
up that
the
archive.
weather data, like NOAA big data.
You can bring it up on Mega
Yeah.
Doppler.
Yeah. Well, I can download it and then.
Yeah.
I can
Okay.
bring it up.
Cool. He's going to do that. So Peyton has left the building. No, he's just right next to us. We'll see how that goes. Took down a tree, laid corn down in my garden. You know, there was that little brief window of significant tornado potential. We looked at that, Zach. We said the tornado potential was not 0. However, it wasn't the greatest, but I think yesterday and this morning was higher than what it was today.
Yeah, definitely.
Or this
Or-
morning is higher than it was tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was all after midnight. Everything's all crazy, screwy. But have the 3 Musketeers tonight. Appreciate that. We'll take that. We'll take that.
Yeah.
Twister tie on last night. Yeah. So we're gonna look at that. We're gonna see, and there was definitely some damage pictures. I would love to see some. I didn't get to see a whole lot, and maybe there were sent to me, but honestly, it's been kind of a whirlwind, pun intended. I had VBS again this morning. Almost slept through it. Woke up at 8:45. Had to be there at 9.
Yeah, because you were tracking that storm at like 4:30.
Yeah, it was late. It was late. Yeah, 4:40 is when we had that circulation,
Yeah.
which 4:40 Z time would be let's see, 9 Z, a little before 9 Z, wouldn't
What
it?
time is it you said?
Yeah, 5 Z. It would be 4 Z. So, or it would it would be 8 Z.
Or aren't we 5 hours?
Yeah,
Yeah.
5 hours. Yeah.
So it would be 9.
So it'd be 9 Z. Yep.
What time was the circulation?
9:40. 9:40 Z. So go. Why don't
Okay.
you go?
9:40 Z.
Yeah. Why don't we go from like 9 Z to 10 Z? That'll cover it. 9 Z to 10 Z will cover it.
Okay.
Give us a skinny for the storm tonight. Yeah, we will. We definitely will. All right. So let's do that. Now, here's the problem. We can look at all these computer model forecasts, and they're all terrible. Every one of them. They're just not great. But notice how everything's quiet right there. I'm going to take your comment off of there so I don't forget. Here's the storm chances. I think Peyton just hit his knee. Look at this.
Oh boy.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just unplugged the computer, Mega Doppler.
Oh.
Oh,
Unplug that. Oh, this one's still running, so we're good there. But anyways, there's a look at the storm potential rolling through. So is this the right time? Yeah, I think it's got an idea. I think it moves through a little too quick. What in the world there? Oh, it just updated. Let's see how it disappears now. All right.
It's still there.
So there we go. 3 a.m. Got it right there.
No. Right. Well, come back to that.
All
Come
right.
back to it.
Larry, Curly, and Mo, man down. So there's your storm potential. We showed this earlier at the beginning of the newscast or beginning of this Facebook Live newscast. There's a 70%. You want me to? Here, I'll try firing this up real quick. So, Zach, I'll let you and Peyton talk about this.
Well, we had the weather climate toolkit.
Let me see. I can get this.
It'll be a little easier.
I'll get this here. So let me go to one.
Yeah, so that was just one model. That was the graph model. We have many other models to look at here, and one that we usually go towards, the HRRR. This one's kind of a bit suspect this evening for us.
So rather sus.
So we can look at that real quick. Again, this is the 1 hour update HRRR. This is kind of showing the storm is being delayed until about daybreak tomorrow. So here's 4:30 a.m. still looking pretty quiet, and then finally 6 a.m., 7 a.m. storms pop up. You buying this, Peyton, or no?
Well, like I said earlier, it depends on where's our energy going to come from. Is it going to come from Oklahoma City, which is going to bring the storm chances in around that 1, 2, 3, even 4 o'clock range, or is it going to be from like the Kansas-Nebraska border, bringing in storms around daybreak or just before daybreak?
Yeah.
So that's what it all depends on. With the slow steering flow, it's hard to pinpoint what.
Yeah, it's really hard to forecast when the steering flow is very weak. The models don't do a very good job with it. We can also look at the NAM. We sometimes look at the short range NAM model, so we can take a look at that. There's a 3 kilometer NAM. This is kind of more on board with the graph model. Kind of has the beginning by around 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, the storm motion looks very slow with these storms, and the rain looks heavy. So, if this happens, flash flooding definitely going to be a concern as we go throughout the overnight. And then this model has the rain lingering into the afternoon. So I'm not quite buying that range. I think by around noontime, I think the rain should be out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets later and later and later.
It keeps getting later. and
Yeah,
later.
it's going to start at like noon at
Yeah.
this point. I mean, it's just like stop already. It's like
and
it's getting later and later and later for the onset of this. It
There
just
is-
doesn't make sense.
there is a lot going on tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff going on in the evenings.
Yeah.
And we're looking at Friday night, some more rain. So it seems to be.
But hopefully not for the Loverboy and Foreigner concert.
Yeah. Hopefully that. Thinking that should be good.
Yeah.
Eric's asking about hail potential. Yeah.
That'd
That
be tomorrow night.
yeah, it's more tomorrow night.
The main
Um,
threat with tonight is flooding potential.
I did make this graphic earlier during the shows, so let me get rid of this.
All right.
So yeah, hail's pretty low concern. Flooding looks to be the main concern tonight.
Go to Mega Doppler. Here is the archive radar. This is archived from last night. And you will notice that this right here is approximately 4:05 in the morning. So this is the cluster of storms that we were watching. What we'll do is we'll put a little marker on Gentry right there, and we're going to watch this storm system come in. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do what's called a 4-panel. So we're going to put velocity, we're going to put normalized rotation, and we're going to put correlation coefficient. I don't think there was a CC drop. So what we'll do is instead we'll put spectrum width on there. But we'll go back and we'll look. So here's that circulation that does develop. There is definitely a little bit of rotation along the leading edge of that line. This, by the way, is approximately 426. Here's 430. We have still a little bit of on the leading edge, little bit of rotation, a little bit of a circulation there showing up. And then we can see a little bit more of a circulation. So this right here is where maybe right at 4:37 in the morning, which is almost exactly where the damage was located in the Gentry area. And there it is moving through. Now that right there is quite suspicious. The only problem is that when you look at that and you go up and tilts, it's gone. But when we go up in tilts, we're at 7,000 feet. We've done a lot of QLCS research. And when you get above 6,000 feet, the beam doesn't see mesovortices very well. So I don't know. If I had time, which I don't, I would love to get out there and look at that. This, by the way, is an anticyclonic circulation.
Maybe I'll
If
do
you're
that
looking at this, this, however, is not. This is cyclonic. So what I mean by that is the rain is moving away from the radar and the rain is moving towards the radar. There is your circulation associated with it right there. We'll do a split screen on like this. And so there is Springtown. Now, I want you to tell me in the reports, where is some of this damage? Is it located right in Gentry? Because if you look at this, there could be tornado potential, but at the same time, it could have been just some gusty winds that developed that produced that little downburst of wind, essentially. So kind of like a little surge in the wind damage. Because if we download it from a different radar, you'll see that it doesn't show up. But there is a little bit of a surge. I've noticed this too. There is a little bit of a rear inflow jet signature right here. This little arrow that's pointing south. And so that would be a descending rear inflow jet, which would make sense because there's the area that's descending and racing towards the radar. Then you have this moving away from the radar. And right on the leading edge of that, you could have that little brief circulation. I don't know. If it is a tornado, I'd like to see some evidence of a convergent wind pattern damage, wind damage pattern.
Yeah.
It's got to be convergent. Now, what do we mean by that? I'll bring up the webcam full. So what we mean by that is in order to have a convergent wind pattern, you got to have trees that are knocked down in different directions. They can't all be knocked down in one direction. So this has already happened. So this is archive radar data. We were looking at this right here. Last night, radar showed a really nice velocity couplet coming towards Rogers. So a little bit of elongated, but anyways. Oh, Dan, please explain negative versus positive lightning strikes. Great question. I'll actually, I'll let you guys tackle that one if you guys want.
Yeah,
Negative?
really looking at me. All right, so it's best if I could draw this. I'm a very visual learner, but I'll try to do this auditorily.
There's a graphic for that. I got one. So you go ahead and describe and
Okay.
I'll show you.
So negative lightning strikes, the reason we get negative is because it has to do with the electrical charge around water and ice particles. I know that sounds very nerdy, but negative lightning strikes are when you get the negative charges, you get the ice and water separated in a cloud to where the negative charges are at the bottom. And for it to have a lightning strike, it has to come close enough to the positive ground. And that's how you get negative strikes. And then for positive strikes, you're showing like.
I'm showing the anatomy of lightning. However, there's another graphic that will show positive strikes. So this is a negative strike where you have that charge that's coming from the bottom of the thunderstorm, which is where the negative charges kind of settle. As you mentioned, they start reaching down to the ground through a process called the step leader. A step leader is a channel of invisible electricity. And at the moment, it draws that upward positive charge, not very high off the ground. Those are called upstreamers. There have been some pictures of that. Once that does connect, you get your lightning strike. And then it flickers because of the return stroke. So exactly like what you were saying, Peyton. But we'll continue on. Positive strikes. What's the difference?
Yeah, so positive strikes, as we've said, the negative charged particles are at the bottom of the storm, so the positive ones are at the top, which means it has to go a lot further away. Like we're talking 25, 30,000 feet from the top of the cloud to the ground. So it has to go a long way. So it's building up a lot of charge, and which is why you see that positive strikes are just like one solid giant flash, and that's where you see that's where you hear your massive rumbles of thunder, and it has to go a long way to the ground. So a lot of charge is built up.
That's right. And what it tells you is that there's a tilt in the updraft, meaning there's a lot of shear. So when there's a lot of shear, you don't have a vertically developed thunderstorm where it's just straight up and down. So you don't get a lot of positive strikes in that aspect because the negative ones are going to dominate. But when you have a lot of shear, your updraft can be tilted. And when it's tilted, that allows, as you'll see right here, that allows for this to have least path of resistance to make it down to the ground. And that's why in a lot of a shear environment, you get a lot of positive strikes.
Mm-hmm.
So how much positive strikes did we have last night?
Probably, like,
Quite
maybe
a bit.
one.
I will show you. We'll go back to 24 hours. We'll loop this and we'll put on the negative and positive strikes. Each one of those red pluses is a positive strike.
Yeah, there were quite a bit.
It was quite a bit. A highly electrified storm. So, anyways, what about some questions here that we want? Why is thunder so very loud sometimes? That's the reason, because those positive strikes have more current. They're a fraction of a second longer. And because they have more current, they're going to take a lot more energy to reach the ground. So that's why you have positive strikes. My house was shaking at 5:30 in Bentonville. The
Yeah.
closer, the louder, too. That's a good point. At some point, lightning could be so far away that you don't see or you don't hear thunder anymore. So I heard lots of positive lightning last night. How much the lightning flashes? The flashes were insane.
It was like a strobe
It
light.
was a strobe light out there. There was so much lightning. So going back to real quick the archive, I would love to see the damage. I don't know if there's any type of what do you think though? What does that look suspect?
Oh, it's definitely sus. I would like to go out there and see if there's any signs of circulation in terms of damage path.
Well, we can know where the damage is, and we would love to see some pictures. So let us know what you
Alright.
see.
I'll go out there.
I would love to. I'd love to know. I wish I could. I can't. I won't be able to tomorrow either, or Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday for that matter. So by then, everything will be cleaned up and it'll be pointless. But maybe there was a little bit. I mean, we saw that STP, significant tornado potential, ramp up right at that time, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
We did.
So we're thinking.
That's what we're thinking. So what we could do now, real quick, the only reason I'm a little skeptical if it is a tornado is you would think that it would also, that rotation would also show up from KINX. But you know what? It actually doesn't. So why don't we go back to giving some more information about the forecast now while I download that archive radar data from KINX.
Okay, so those of you just joining, we do have storm chances tonight. We were just talking about last night, but I think we should look towards the future, Peyton, and look at tonight because we definitely could see some more storms tonight. And yeah, so let's look at a model. Let's look at, I don't know, what model do you want to look at, Peyton?
I don't know. Let's look at satellite radar.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, let's look out the window.
Yeah, let's just go with what's going on right now.
Let's look at the satellite.
Yeah,
See what's going on.
let's go the last 2 hours. So we're watching this complex of storms. Let me get the pointer up. Yeah, watching this complex of storms, and it's slowly moving. Why is it? Oh,
You might be on 24 hours.
There we go.
I don't know, yeah.
all right. Watching this complex of storms, which is moving east, but it does seem like it has a more southerly component. So this could miss us, but at the same time, we're watching this because this could all of a sudden take a right turn and grow upscale, and then we have it that way. Back to you, Zach.
And yeah, I think that Nebraska energy is what the HRRR looks to be hinting at, maybe.
Mhm.
So, yeah, why don't we do the HRRR and the zoom out version and see where it has these storms coming in from?
Yeah.
So let's go to the HRRR moving and zoom it out. Where I can probably find it.
Okay. Go through Dan's show.
Yeah. So let's just take this, open that up, and get rid of that. And,
You know what we need to do probably is create ones that don't have any scene cameras for
Yeah.
for Facebook Live,
yeah.
and then just have a folder where we have all the model data in a one folder, one location, and then we can load up a show where we have all that. in
Even
there.
just for shows.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good
Even
idea.
for shows, honestly. 'cause I
Yeah.
can't find
Yeah.
a non-moving one.
Well,
Yeah.
So this is what's happening right now. I mean, this is the initialization of the model.
Yeah.
And it is showing those storms across Nebraska there, Peyton. And you were saying that these might enter the picture later on tonight. The Oklahoma City storms, they're actually more towards the east than what this model shows. So that's not a good indication of this model.
See, what I thought was interesting and leave it right there. What I thought was interesting over several model runs, the way that line over Northwest Arkansas is oriented leads me to believe that there's some energy from the north and we got the energy from the east, and that's why it's created the boundary in that shape.
Yeah.
And then what's even more interesting that by the time the sun rises and where we're oriented in the ridge, the upper level flow is going to train those storms over Northwest Arkansas, and that's why we do see the potential for flooding.
Definitely. Yeah, and because the flow is so weak, the storm movement is going to be slow. And we're talking about training storms, so storms rolling over the same spot, one after another, which will also increase the flash flooding threat. So yeah, this model has the storms around daybreak tomorrow morning, and then even going into the afternoon hours. And
I
then
just don't know if I
we
buy that. That just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not buying that either. But then if we go into Friday evening, we have another cluster of storms rolling in.
But why is that coming from straight north?
I don't
doesn't
know.
that doesn't match up with the upper level flow, does it? Maybe.
Well,
No.
because the flow is west.
Westerly. It's slight west northwest.
Yeah.
It was showing it coming from the west the last several runs. Now it dives straight south from Nebraska.
Well, last night we had west northwest flow, and those storms dropped down south.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, I do have the archive radar data loaded if you want to see this velocity image, which is basically non-existent.
Okay, so we can go back to that. So again, this happened last night.
Last night archive,
this is-
we're looking at the radar now from Tulsa. So it just takes a little bit to load. And so there's the same storm. Notice how there's very little circulation. Now the beam is 5,000 feet, so it's within that range. You can see some gusty winds. It sure looks like outflow to me. And so that comes through Gentry right there. I don't see any circulation of any sort.
Could be a downburst.
Yeah.
That could explain why Fort Smith was seeing it come from two directions. If it was a downburst that was straight down, because the lack of shear would have it go straight down. So that Fort Smith would see it from both directions.
There's no circulation on that. And if it was strong enough, I think you would see it. But then again, at the same time, and you got to remember this, KINX is to the left-hand side of the radar. It's got a lot to go through where the beam could be slightly attenuated, which there's a very, very heavy rain right there, as we know. So that could attenuate the beam on the eastern side of the storm, which could prevent you from seeing a good velocity image. That's a possibility. That's a very good possibility. So anyways, I just wanted to show you that. The verdict's still out if it really is, in fact, perhaps a spin up. Anyways, going back to what you were talking about, Zach. Sorry. I just brought up that radar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So going back to Weather One. Yeah, we're talking about these two complexes coming in. So again, one is expected to move in tonight. The timing a bit up in the air still. The models haven't been doing very good. But I think it's going to rain tonight. Think so, Peyton? I think we're going to see some rain.
Tonight, absolutely. And I would recommend taking an umbrella out the door as you head to work. For sure.
Yeah, and plan for some extra time for the morning drive, because definitely going to be seeing some rain, and if you get the rain, you don't want to be driving too fast. So yeah, so this model again is showing the rain moving in. I still think it's a bit too late. Again, the model shows some pretty heavy rain at around 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then it kind of has it lingering throughout the morning, breaking the action during the afternoon. And then again, Friday night, another complex rolling in. And I think tomorrow night's complex has a better chance of severe weather than tonight's complex.
Yeah, again, it's this, as we've repeated several times, this chain reaction forecasting. What happens tonight and how far it lingers into the morning and potentially afternoon hours determines how much daytime heating we get, which determines the energy source for the complex coming through tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's pretty strange because this model has the rain lingering well into the afternoon, and then it still has this big line coming through during the evening. So I don't know, but good thing we have more than one model.
How would you guys like, speaking of model, you want to see the significant tornado parameter from last night into this morning? Because I got the archive loaded up. So bring up on Weather 1, iDrive Arkansas, that graphic. Yeah, you can close out of that.
Your son's calling you.
Yeah, I know. I see that. Go ahead and hand me the phone. I missed him. He's got a friend over.
Hello.
Hey, Lilia. Yeah, probably tomorrow. We still got more storms coming in, as you know. Thank you. Bye-bye. So anyways, I'm on the wrong one. Never mind.
You just copy and paste that link.
Yeah, it's not good. Hold on. My bad. Don't bring that up. That's the archive. That's nothing. I'm sorry. Too many computers. Are you there? Hey, what's up?
Who's this one? So now,
No, I don't.
This is the graph.
yeah, this is the graph.
Yeah, it's
Kind
kind
of
of
model. You can go ahead and take it away, Zach.
yeah. It's kind of zoomed in. Let's
What for?
There's one
For
right
what?
next to it.
do this. Here's the short range graph model. Again, it's showing storms just to the east of us. So again, it's not doing a very good job with the initialization. But it is showing the storms
Start practicing.
coming in during the overnight hours. So here's 4 a.m.
Okay, cool.
showing some pretty heavy rain. So again, if this model's true overnight tonight, you can expect some pretty loud storms, expecting some lightning, flooding potential as we go throughout the night. So again, the past 2 weeks we've been having these overnight storms. Tonight is no different, but the difference between last night and what we saw the past weeks to hit Northwest Arkansas, the past or at least last weekend, the River Valley got a whole lot of rain, and Northwest Arkansas didn't get a lot. Last night, Northwest Arkansas got a lot of rain, and that was actually needed because we are in a level one drought. That is the latest drought monitor. So the rain is actually good. We just don't want too much rain. And we were looking at some things earlier, Peyton, some flooding guidelines.
Yeah, the flash flood guidance.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So what was that saying? It was saying if we get what was it?
3 inches in 3 hours.
3 inches. Was that in 1 hour?
No, 3 inches in 3 hours.
3 inches in 3 hours.
2 inches in 1 hour.
Yeah. It was just 2 inches in 1 hour, 3 inches in 3 hours. So if we get that, then it's a good chance the river stream is going to overflow and cause flooding. So, and we were looking at the PWatt values, and those were pretty high.
2.3.
2.3.
Yeah.
I have that archive now up on the right computer. So if you want to check it out on Weather 2 on that iDrive Arkansas camera, there we go. So this is last night when there were multiple tornado warnings. I know we're kind of bouncing back and forth, but I think people wanted to see this, and it does lead to believe that there could have been a brief tornado. So there's a 2 out of the significant tornado parameter. It goes infinitely high, but it doesn't rarely get above, I don't know, 10 is the highest I've ever seen. Well, I guess I've seen it higher on April 27, 2011. But there it is. That's 9Z. That's at the same time that storm rolled in. And you can see that bullseye right there over northwest Arkansas. So there was a brief window of opportunity. I would like to check out the damage.
Based on what the
personally.
audio is going on.
Audio is missing.
Is looping.
Lagging.
Is it lagging?
So what was that saying?
I don't know.
Mic check.
I think we're looping.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's enough of that. But hey, real quick, we got some additional development that's trying to start to pop. It hasn't formed into thunderstorms yet, but that could be a possibility.
Take Mega Doppler.
There we are. This is live, and we're starting to see, well, a lot of thunderstorms in central Oklahoma with the lightning on there.
Diving southeast.
It is diving southeast, but this is where your additional development is popping up. You start to see a few little returns. That's exactly how it started last night, too.
There's been a lot of comments, so something's going wrong.
All right. Well, maybe just shut it down. I don't know what's going on. It was, but fine now. Okay.
Oh, all right.
I hear just fine. Something might have been wrong. I don't know what was going on. But, okay, here we go. You have to X out and click back on. Well, are we paused out? No. We still got camera. Still got Mega Doppler. All good, fellas. All right. So I don't think there's anything else we can add. At least there's nothing else I can add. I'm spent. I've only had a couple hours of sleep. And
Yeah, I think the
I'm gonna head out.
big takeaway is storm chances again tonight. Pretty good chance. Dan's got that lightning tie on, and when he has that tie on, you know,
And this is the
Good-
big lightning too.
good
So we're
chance
gonna
of
have
good chance of
additional-
lightning. But I think when we compare last night to tonight, the severe storm threat tonight is a little bit lower, but the flooding potential is higher. So gonna have to watch out for that. And then again tomorrow night, more storms. So we're not quite yet done. with
Yeah,
these
we're not
storms.
done. It's pretty active. Yeah, key takeaways tonight: flooding threat possible, like localized areas. Just be sure to turn around, don't drown. And then tomorrow night, that's going to be more like your traditional severe, where we have that wind and hail threat. Yeah, we'll have more on that as the models change their minds. We'll change our minds.
Yeah, so Sarah's asking what time they're coming in. Yeah, so I guess one last time we'll show the timing. So let me get the
And we can end it with the 7-day too.
because people probably wondering about the weekend forecast that's coming up pretty soon.
Timing is going to be in Atlanta.
Let me just type in.
Pop.
Yep. All right. So here's the latest timing on the rain tonight. So let me get that loaded up. Here we go. And there it is. So again, 70% chance tonight, beginning by around 3 o'clock in the morning. And then that does go until about daybreak, maybe just after daybreak tomorrow. So there's a good chance of on the commute to work, seeing some rain and storms. So definitely want to be careful tomorrow morning, plan for some extra time. And then there should be a drop off. Thinking during the afternoon, looks dry. But again, the storms that happened tonight kind of are give us a good tell of what happens tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, expecting more storms. Those should be a tad earlier, maybe around midnight. And then storms should be ending during the morning hours Saturday. And then after that, looks to be pretty quiet. So again,
Or maybe we don't
storms-
get a single storm.
we
I'll
got
just pump fake.
the
I'm
latest
not
H
buying
triple
that.
R is showing nothing.
Are you on
It shows
weather- Are you on
nothing.
weather too?
Should we even show that?
It shows absolutely nothing. I don't. think
Weather
so.
one.
This is going to be. It's probably not going to be updated on there. This is go to that iDrive Arkansas if you want to see this. I am on that same computer
Some
still.
baloney.
So here's the latest HRRR, just updated. Piece of garbage. And look, it doesn't even. First of all, it doesn't even have this. Bring up Mega Doppler real quick. Come on. You don't even have this. Look at all this stuff. There's storms, there's hail, there's wind. Granted, that is dropping southeast. There is additional development farther north. That's starting to pop now near Stillwater. And yet you go back to this, go to weather 1 on that, and that doesn't have anything. And it doesn't even have the storms. And then it doesn't have anything at all, like no rain at all.
Yeah,
You know what? Here's what I want to do.
definitely not buying that.
I want to do a model trend loop because this is ridiculous. Let's do a model trend loop.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Let's do this. Let's go to, okay. So here's a model trend. Let's just give it 10Z for the benefit.
Yeah.
So this means every model at the same time, 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, it's got rain. Oh, nope, it doesn't. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. And it's been trending down every single time.
But
It's been trending down.
isn't the fact that it keeps on trending worth something?
That's what I'm wondering here. That's what I'm asking.
So maybe it's onto something.
Or maybe it's just wrong. If it's wrong
Yeah.
again, then we give up.
To
I
answer-
don't know.
To answer Olivia's question, can't really read that from here.
Just going to be loud, no tornado
Yeah,
threat.
no tornado threat, just a lot of thunder and lightning.
Might be nothing.
Robert's asking for an encore.
An encore for the HRRR. Exit stage right. I can't- I'm so done with looking at Kings. I can't even describe.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Right. Let me just bring up like full cam.
Yeah. Shut it down.
Shut her down. Yep.
Yep.
All right. All right. So again, storms tonight, and then again storms tomorrow,
Unless you believe the HRRR.
and then who knows?
And it doesn't have anything. And it has absolutely nothing. Might not even be a storm.
Pray for our sanity.
Yeah. No kidding. I'm interested to see how this one pans out. I still think we're going to see storms. This pattern is so annoying. Oh my gosh. Next week is going to be hot and humid. We're going to close it out with just a 7-day. Take it for what it's worth. We do spend a lot of time on this trying to figure it out.
Especially
But
recently.
there's a 7-day. I know every single 7-day has been difficult. So we do have that strong storm potential tonight, Friday night to Saturday morning. There you go, Richard. Before you even asked for it, we got it up there. Not as stormy. That's because the ridge of high pressure is building in, and then you see the hot weather. We are going to get really hot. If you thought it was hot these past few days, it might not be as humid as it was, but it is going to be possibly just as hot, if not hotter. Then you see those temperatures. I think triple digits is a good possibility again.
Oh,
in a
when I went
string of them.
conservative, when I
Yeah.
said 100, that was conservative.
Yeah, I saw Thursday might be a bit hotter.
Now, was that the GFS or was that a lot of other models?
That was just a lot of other models and going with what I know.
Yeah.
Just trying to be conservative.
That far out, you gotta be.
Yeah, you gotta be, but I could see it easily reaching 102.
That's not out of the question by any means. So there you go. Wait and see. If it starts storming again, I'll be jumping for joy because we got another forecast right. But we're only as good as our next incorrect forecast, as I like to say.
Yeah, that's
true.
That's my
That's true.
saying. All right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.
Have a great Friday.
The Three Amigos is out.
Yeah, 3
We're out.
Have you ever remember that show?
I never saw that.
Huh.
Yeah.
See ya.
Uh,